overtaken bridge to Crimea. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The World News at 12 begins with the Labour Party presidential candidate in this year's general elections, Peter Obi, condemning the recent approval of a 114% increase in the salaries of elected politicians, including the president, vice president, governors, lawmakers, as well as judicial and public office holders by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC. Obi said this is not the appropriate time for such a salary increment if it is at all necessary. In a post on his verified Twitter handle on Thursday, Obi argued that one would have expected the leaders and the public office holders to focus on cutting the cost of governance and alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians. He added that leaders should prioritize what affects the masses and those on the lower strata of society over themselves. Meanwhile, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on digital media, Dada Olusegun, has denied claims making the rounds about the purported 114% pay rise for governors, judges, and political aides. He disclosed this on Wednesday night through his official Twitter handle. Corroborating Olusegun's position, the Public Relations Officer of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and the Fiscal Commission, Christian Nwachukwu, told the leadership newspapers that Tinubu did not approve salary increments for politically exposed persons. Meanwhile, earlier, a federal commissioner in the commission, Rakia Tanko Ayuba, had made the salary increment remark when she represented RMAFC chairman Mohammed Shehu at the presentation of the reports of the reviewed remuneration package to the Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris in Birnin Kebbi on Tuesday. In the meantime, operatives of the Department of State Services DSS have conducted a search of the Abuja home and office of the suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa. The secret police also during the week invited Bawa's close associates in the EFCC for questioning over an alleged mismanagement, misappropriation and diversion of proceeds of sold assets forfeited to the EFCC. However, the spokesperson for the DSS, Dr. Plant, comment on this issue. Bawa, who is currently being held in the custody of the DSS in Abuja, is being probed for alleged financial impropriety as the EFCC chairman. The DSS has yet to file charges against the embattled EFCC boss as investigation continues. Spokesperson for the EFCC, Dr. Wilson Uwujare, is also yet to make a comment over this development. Now joining me on the World News at 12 to talk about this and other issues on the news, we have Mr. Cyril Abaku, a political analyst and a social affairs commentator. You're welcome to the World News at 12, Mr. Cyril.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Cyril, we have this development with the EFCC chairman, it's safe to say former EFCC chairman, who has been in DSS custody for over 1 week now. And we will also note that it is the same with the CBN governor. Right now, we had a report from the Punch that the DSS had obtained an ex parte order to extend Bawa's detention in their facility, so that he will not be able to file lawsuit in order to challenge his detention. How long are we expecting Bawa to be there before the DSS says, okay, investigation is over and now we have something to charge him for? We're just hearing, financial impropriety, abuse of powers and all of that. How long is he going to be there before the DSS says, now these are the charges that we are filing against him?
Well, I don't work with the DSS, so...
I know that.
Yes.
But following due procedure of innocent until proven guilty, and right now for over 1 week investigation, they keep saying we are conducting investigation. Now they've gone to search his home and office. Is it not yet time for them to have something concrete to charge him on?
Well, first of all, we've had lawyers say it again and again that the DSS does not have powers to prosecute. What they're supposed to do really is to investigate, conclude investigations, and hand the suspect over to the police. It is the police that by law has broad powers to investigate, to arrest, to charge to court, to do all of that. I think that the DSS only came into the picture, I think, under the Babangida administration, the Nigerian state and all of its internal contradictions, when the police began not to be able to do what it was set up to do initially because of maybe political interference. DSS, EFCC, if you look at the laws, the powers of the police, everything the DSS does, everything EFCC does, everything NSCDC, for example, do, are all powers that have already been invested in the police. So, but let's leave that. Where this is going to end is only too obvious, Choma, for anybody to know and to see. In the past years, what we used to hear was gross misconduct and abuse of office. Now, the narrative has sort of changed. We are hearing financial impropriety, fraud. It's the same thing. You don't make an arrest and then begin to shop for evidence everywhere. You undertake your investigation. The DSS is supposed to be Nigeria Secret Police. You undertake investigations, you get evidence, you get your facts, then you arrest and indict. This is what we've seen the FBI do overseas. You arrest and indict. When you indict, the person in question already knows that you have the smoking gun with his fingerprint on it. So there's little or nothing he can do to change it. At most, he will enter the plea bargain. There's a long list of names I'm going to give you now. If you want me to give you, the arrest, then going to search their homes, search their offices. In the end, nothing comes out of it. And that's what, quote me, look at the case. At most, there may be a court proceeding. But what we have even seen shows now that they have nothing. So on what trend was he arrested in the first place? Was even arrested after the president suspended him. He personally went to the office and reported there. So here is a man who is still, please quote me, who is still EFCC chairman as far as the law is concerned, because he's only suspended, assuming that for some reason a court of competent jurisdiction came up and said his suspension was even illegal in the first place, and then gave us all kinds of reasons and say reinstate him. What are you going to do about that? He goes back to office and will now take all his emolument and titles and entitlements from the day he was suspended until when he went back to the office. If you don't have anything concrete to prosecute anybody with, don't bother taking Nigerians on this ride.
Now, speaking of something concrete in order to prosecute him, Mr. Cyril, the DSS also invited Bowers, his close associate, for questioning over the same alleged mismanagement, alleged misappropriation, diversion of proceeds, sold assets that are forfeited to the EFCC that is still unaccounted for. With all of these things, an investigation is still ongoing. I mean, it's been more than 1 week, just as you've been saying.
How long are you going to keep a man and then you arrest a man, suspend his rights, and then you're investigating him? If that can happen to the chairman of the EFCC, it means it can happen to any Nigerian. They just pick you up, lock you up, and say they're investigating. Investigating what? Investigation must precede prosecution, and this is why a lot of times they go to court. The cases either get struck out or they just keep adjourning because you don't have enough to make your case. I'll give an example. When the FBI eventually landed, what was his name? Arrested this Nigerian man in Dubai, Hush Puppy. When they picked him up, they didn't have to pick him up, lock him and say, we are going to, let's go to Nigeria and ask people, let's go to Dubai and ask questions. They already had everything they needed. In fact, look, there is one thing to allege, is another thing to indict, and there's another thing to convict. When you allege, you are merely accusing. Or when you accuse, you're just saying somebody, you use XYZ person, you've stolen so and so, and we say that you're the one who took it, you're under arrest. It's one layer of it. To indict means that you have undertaken, you've done your investigations, you have evidence that compellingly shows and proves that this person is guilty if charged. That person is guilty already. So instead of trying to say the person is not guilty, the person comes and says, Oga, you have enough to nail me. I beg. Like, I beg. Okay. And why do you indict? It is because the person involved will now come and spill. For a lesser sentence, he will spill. The prosecutors go to work, go to court and say this person is guilty of 1, 2, 3, but he's pleading, so we want to have a deal. Instead of 30 years, we're put for a minimum sentence. The person will spill, so that they are able to arrest more persons, but in Nigeria's own case, then in conviction, the matter goes to trial or goes to court, and the judge actually says you are guilty. So indictment does not take away conviction, but what we are seeing now is that they arrest you, they are only alleging. And I've not had core specifics of this was what you did. you awarded the contract or you signed the document, or there's no, I've not seen, they've not told Nigerians exactly what the issues are. So until we, and please, that you went to somebody's office to find some money or find the EFCC, don't they undertake secret investigations? These are the things that I just find a bit awkward. If you have grounds to indict somebody in the office of the CBN governor or EFCC chairman, those are very, very high offices and they're very sensitive. EFCC chairman is in one act, they are financial intelligence spies. They prosecute, they investigate, they do all sorts of things. So for you to be indicting the chairman of the EFCC is a grievous thing. The man before him was Magu, right? Magu, they even had to set up a commission in the presidency, a panel, got a retired judge to sit in the panel. Where is Magu today? Where's even the report of the panel? Everything has just gone under the bus. So the fact that you are doing the same thing the same way and expecting us to see a different result is what I have issues with. I'm not saying Baba should not be prosecuted. If you have grounds to deal with the man, why not? Go ahead. But that you are doing the same thing the same way and expecting us to have a different result, I don't shout out optimism and I don't see this thing going anywhere. In the end, this will just go the same way others have gone.
All right, still on the EFCC and the sale and forfeiture of assets, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed October 23 for hearing in a suit filed by former Minister of Petroleum Resources Diezani Alison Madueke, challenging the order obtained by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) for final forfeiture of her seized assets. The news agency of Nigeria had reported that the anti-corruption agency had planned to conduct a public sale of all the assets seized for being proceeds of crime as ordered by courts to be permanently forfeited to the federal government. Immediate past EFCC chairman Abdul Rashid Bawa, or suspended EFCC chairman Abdul Rashid Bawa, recently said $153 million and over 80 properties had been recovered from Alison Madueke. The former minister, who argued that the various orders were made without jurisdiction, said they ought to be set aside as a matter of right. Mr. Cyril, we're talking about $153 million and over 80 properties, according to Abdul Rashid Bawa, saying this is what they seized from Alison Madueke. And now she's saying that they have no jurisdiction and that any order that has been made on her has to be set aside as a matter of rights. That is to say, she does not subscribe to the sale or forfeiture of this asset to the federal government. She's seeking leave to apply to the courts to set aside the EFCC's public notice. She does not want the EFCC to sell her assets. What is your opinion on this? Let us bear in mind that, there was a time when she was alleged to have escaped to the United Kingdom and remained there after her exit from office. She was in office between 2010 and 2015 under former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration.
My advice will not be even to the EFCC or my advice will be to Mr. President. He has come on board. I think that we need to carry out urgently an audit, not just an audit, a thorough probe of how the EFCC has been prosecuting the Diezani Alison Madueke case since 2015 now, right? Or 16. That we've not, in the popular imagination, this woman might have touched the nation's patrimony, she might have dipped down in the till. But the fact is that until the courts have effectively dispensed with the matter, you can't say, you can't speak on the matter when it is sub judice. But the fact is, I'm worried. This is 2023. An entire government has lived out its lifespan of 2 consecutive terms of 4 years each, and we were not and to prove matters in court and to bring conclusion to these matters. Now it has dragged into this other administration again. I think let's step back a bit and properly evaluate what we've done with the Alison Madueke case. The reality is that the EFCC itself, at a point, perhaps they didn't know what to do with the matter anymore, because I remember when Magu came up to say that they didn't even want her to prosecute in Nigeria, and I was wondering why that was the case. That they thought that she might have a case a case at the court or something like that, and I was wondering. So somehow I think they've now they want to, now they don't want to, now they want to, now they don't want to. It's not enough to give us the figures in the media. Go to court and prove this case. Like the DSS, like EFCC. I think that for a lot of them, they prefer media trial to real courtroom trials. But that is why the main thing they want corruption should be fought. It's in the courtroom. gather your evidence, go to court and prove your case. There was a time in 2016 or 17, the ICPC took God's Orubebe to court and said that he had stolen money. They went to court, and in fact, they even had to beg that they didn't do the homework very well, and that they were sorry for even dragging him to court in the first place. These are institutions of the federal government. They are made up of lawyers and criminal experts in criminology who are supposed to understand the gravity of the work that's been given to them. But every now and then, the matter goes to... sometimes you really wonder, are they more interested in going to court to win these cases? Or they are more interested in just having the job continue to roll over from year to year? So this woman now has come up to say they should not even put up her whatever for say. But on what grounds? Because when I was reading the story, I saw the reporter put the story in quote. He said that the lawyer positions, I don't know what that means. On a clear-cut criminal proceeding of this kind, people are regularizing their positions. So these are the issues. I think that we need to be clear. If you want to carry out a full-scale prosecution, take the full-scale prosecution and 8 years should be enough time for us to, given the fact that in 2015 we signed the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which meant that lawyers couldn't come to court to say, they always say, let the preliminary objection stand pending determination of something. The law now said everything should go pari passu. I thought that some of the backlogs that normally make cases to be delayed have been taken out of the window. But it appears that the more things change, the more they're remaining the same. I want this. So the matter goes to court. Let there be quick judgment. Let this matter be rested once and for all. If you want to try corruption cases, there are many corruption cases to be tried. The NNPCL went from NNP to NNPCL, and 2 trillion naira is now missing. We need to make sure that these cases are dispensed with early. The government should put this out together, do the matter is with the background work, do the background work in time, get evidence together, and then go to court and just get the job done. 8 years was enough time. This is now maybe 90 or so to be fighting one corruption case today for future, tomorrow for, and a lot of time. The problem is, and let me wrap with this. There was a time they brought out all sorts of things, on this and things like that, and said they all belong to Desani. It was later on Baba came to the media and said that he wanted to be fair to the woman, that some of the things that they had brought out were not, that the EFCC did not even have, and this was a major story, that was the major headline on the national daily. For goodness sake, are we really fighting corruption? It means that there are people within the system who just want to smear someone's name and are not interested really in bringing the matter to a conclusion. Let us weed those people out and make sure that when we take matters to court, corruption cases, they are won even before we go to court, and that they are dispensed once the matters are in court.
All right, I think sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Cyril. Before you leave, I want to quickly speak on an issue that has pervaded the media for about 2 days now. You talked about the laxity of the institutions of government, and there was a report that the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, came out to say the president is trying to approve, or it's there before the Senate to approve, 114% increase in the salaries of elected politicians, including the president, the vice president, governors, lawmakers, and judicial public office holders. Of course, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has come out to condemn this, saying that this is a moment when recent reform measures by the government should increase. We have the whole subsidy issue that has been there ever since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over the affairs of the nation, has come out to deny these claims that there is nothing like that. And also, the Public Relations Officer of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission also said that President Bola Tinubu did not approve such salary increment for this public and political office holders. Now, what I want to ask is this: why there seems to be such a disparity between the information, these are the institutions of government that we spoke about, and then coming out saying something like this. It's been over 2 days. The more you talk about it, the more critics of the government are coming up, the more citizens are coming up and being angry about this. If truly this is not true, why was he allowed to stay in the media to marinate for over 48 hours now?
114% salary increase is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. One. Number two, Choma, I have to be very upfront with you. The spokesman of RAMFAC has not denied that they are not that they don't want to or have not already made the increase. He didn't deny that.
The public relations officer
of Ramfac of the commission, he did not. And hope I'm not putting too much on you as a station. If Ramfac is listening, if Chris Awanchukwu, I think that's the name I saw. If you're listening, sir, I challenge you to come to VOP and grant an interview. Yes, because I did not specific idea. I read what he said. In fact, what he said was it is in the process. I don't know what that means. And this is supposed to be an increment that will be effective January 1. Which means governors that took jumbo pension salaries and package and have gone. Impoverished states and their
are still entitled to this.
We are telling them, come back, you didn't take enough, come back, come and take. Now, if this was effective, because what the lady said in KB was that she was presenting a report to the governor. The way normally should be done, I think, somebody who is in the level of a commissioner of Ramfac or commissioner in INEC has authority to speak on behalf of the commission. One. Number two, she was not speaking her opinion. She was presenting the report of the commission. The chairman should have seen it. Spokesman should have seen it to edit it for errors and things like that, because as spokespersons, their work is to check the flow of information outside of the commission and what the commission and what people are saying about the commission. All right? So, all these people should have seen it. A commissioner couldn't have gone to speak off the cuff talking about salary increase of percentage of 140. It was in the report that she was given, as far as I thought that discussion went. Now, if this is not true, did President Buhari already sign it down before he left? Or has the document got to the table of Mr. President? Or is it supposed to go to the Senate first for approval before it goes to the President? Or so we need to get through. Where is that matter and papers? Where is the matter right now? Where is it? Is it that the commission has concluded the work and is about to take to the President or take to the Senate? Where is it? Nobody has said anything significant about it. Perhaps if they come out and clear the air thoroughly, then we would know. But as it is right now, subsidy removal is biting Nigerians very hard. People are going bankrupt. People are losing money. Then the president and people and the vice president and governors and judges want to now take jumbo pay of 114%. First of all, I don't think the president even needs the money personally. He's a rich man. The vice president does not need the money. He's a rich man as far as I know. The governors don't need the money because what they're already earning and what is the security vote is already way too much. So to be talking of salary increase as at now sounds extremely funny, insensitive, uncouth, crude, primitive, and worthy to be reversed. They should take it back with immediate effect.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cyril Abako, for joining me on the World News at 12.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) on Wednesday shut down a Chinese company, Shangzi Construction Engineering Group Corporation, over what it described as the dehumanizing condition of Nigerian workers in the company. The union arrived at the company located at the new headquarters of the Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS) in Lugbe, Abuja, as early as 7:30 a.m. There was initial resistance as the gate of the company was locked against the protesting union and its picketing team, but was later opened by the management. Now, the Chinese government had undertaken to build a new ECOWAS secretariat as part of an aid package to the community. Addressing the protesting workers, General Secretary of the NLC, Emmanuel Ugboaja, lamented the alleged inhumane treatment meted out to workers at the construction site. He also said the Chinese company engaged the workers on an ad hoc basis with no conditions of service attached or any welfare medical services in place. The NLC said while the picketing action would continue, the leadership of Labour hoped to engage the management of the company in a meaningful discussion. Now, on the foreign scene, Russian officials have accused Ukraine of attacking a bridge linking southern Ukraine to the Crimean Peninsula with long-range British missiles. The Russian-installed governor in occupied Kherson, Vladimir Saudo, said the two parallel Chonhar bridges were both damaged, but no one was hurt. He said it was likely that British Storm Shadow missiles were used in an attack, which he claimed was ordered by London. The bridge is the shortest route from Crimea to the front line in the south. It is also an important link to the occupied city of Melitopol, which lies on the coastal route from the Russian border across southern Ukraine to Crimea. Russia uses the Road as a land bridge to Crimea and Melitopol. The Russian forces seized the Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine in 2014, and then in February last year they invaded Ukraine's southern coastal region too. Ukraine's offensive has made slow progress so far, claiming the recapture of 8 villages. Russian forces have continued to target Ukrainian cities, including the residential area of President Volodymyr Zelensky's home city and the southern port of Odessa overnight. And that's it on the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Peter Obi has condemned the salary increase for Tinubu, Shatima and others. You also heard that Tinubu's media advisor has denied claims of 114% increments for political office holders. You heard that the DSS has conducted a search on suspended EFCC chairman's home and extended the probe to his associates. You also heard that the court will hear Diazani's suit against the EFCC over asset forfeiture in October. On the foreign scene, Russia has accused Ukraine of attacking the bridge to Crimea. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Special thanks to Mr. Cyril Abaku for joining us on the World News at 12 today. Please follow our social media handles at VOP 903 FM for coverage of your live events and brand news mentions on our news bulletins. Just send the mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Please stay tuned for Matters with Ikami Jude.